You know that feeling when a friend has texted you and you haven't texted back in weeks, and then you feel really embarrassed because you don't know what to say and you procrastinate. Well, this is how I feel with this YouTube channel. I haven't posted a video since January, and that is my bad. And to be honest, I feel a bit embarrassed to say it, but it's been a tough year. I struggled. I feel maybe still a little bit burned out. And I used to not like that word. I always used to think burnout is a little bit of a cop-out. But midlife can actually be quite challenging. And sometimes we have just so much on our plate and so many things to deal with that it can become quite overwhelming. And if you're always giving and doing, but you never allow yourself to really recharge those batteries or to stop and reflect, there comes a point where you just burned out. And quite frankly, this is how I felt for pretty much all of this year. There have been some incredible highs as well, but also some really deep lows. I'm not going to go into details of it because everybody has their own little package to carry. And you know exactly what I mean and how it feels. But what I want to do in this video is share with you 3 different strategies I have tried to combat that. And stick to the end of the video because I'm going to reveal what actually works. Spoiler alert, it's none of the 3 I'm going to talk about now. It's something else. But let me guide you through. So let's go back to January. Kind of like first couple of weeks in, I already felt absolutely and utterly exhausted and overwhelmed with everything. And I just couldn't give any more. And I thought, right, maybe I just need to be in my best physical shape ever. Maybe I just need to prioritize my body. And that gives me enough energy to be kind of like, mentally fit to kind of like combat everything. So I did what everybody else did. I stopped drinking alcohol. I had very little sugar. I eat quite healthily already. I even dabbled with kind of like meditation in the morning. And to be honest, I find that quite hard because my mind always runs at 100 miles an hour. But I really gave it a go to kind of like be in my best physical shape ever. It didn't work, to be honest. Even kind of like giving up a glass of wine in the evening didn't do anything for me. In actual fact, I think because I was so focused on having that healthy body, I stressed myself out even more. And then the end of January, I got really ill. I had COVID a 3rd time. Unfortunately, somehow that stupid little virus loves my body and causes havoc every single time. So I was quite poorly again. But c'est la vie, I just persevered with it. But yeah, just giving up any of the little pleasures in life clearly did not work. Then I thought, okay, let's go away. Let's take myself out of this situation. And I already had the trip of a lifetime planned with some of my friends. We went up to the Lofoten Island in Norway, above the Arctic Circle. Mind-blowingly beautiful. If you haven't been, you have to go. It was beautiful. We went sea kayaking and snowshoe hiking, and I just felt like me again. I felt so alive. It was amazing. I love adventures, and yeah, that was an amazing one. And I came back and I thought, like, this is what I needed. This is what the doctor ordered. Just take yourself on holiday. Problem is, you come back and everything else is still there. In actual fact, everything has piled up, right? Because you've been out of the office and out of everything else for a couple of weeks, and you come back to a mountain of things. And all the other problems you had, they are still there. They don't magically disappear when you go on holiday. So yeah, very quickly, that feeling of like, I'm on top of the mountain evaporated. And I felt a little bit disillusioned by it. And I thought like, this is, what can I do? And you know that feeling, right? You're so overwhelmed. Sometimes you don't even have time to stop thinking what you should do. You just are perpetually exhausted and tired, and you just give, and do. So, yeah, going on holiday, as fun as it was, it's clearly not a solution to combat that midlife overwhelm or burned out feeling. So I did what I usually do best in ignoring it. I was like, I'm a tough cookie. I'm just going to carry on. I'm just going to pretend I don't feel overwhelmed, and I just do. And then I just increase the speed with, by how I tackled everything. Backfired, because I felt even more exhausted. When you're operating already on half batteries and you try to kind of like get more and more out of that engine, it just, there comes a point where you just can't give anymore. And it came to the detriment of not just my own personal kind of like, well-being, but also making time for friends, or even responding to text messages or to anything else. And there came a point where I turned my computer on in the morning and I thought I just cannot work today. I felt so exhausted. I felt like crying, to be honest. And it was a low point. And I haven't felt like that before. And I felt burned out. And I hate that word, I must admit. I always thought burnout is a bit of a cop-out. But it's real. And I kind of had a chat with one of my best friends, and she said, well, I'm not surprised, honey. With everything you've been dealing with and everything you're doing, it's no wonder that you feel burned out. Something's gotta give. And I thought, that is so true. I think I need to acknowledge that I'm not Superwoman. I can't, I haven't got batteries that magically charge themselves overnight. I am overwhelmed. I am burned out. But I don't know if I want to feel that way. So what can I actually do? So I went back to the drawing board. I took a huge A3 sheet of paper. I love those. And I wrote down everything that I currently do, any problems I'm facing, everything just on one sheet of paper in tiny little kind of like speech bubbles. And I looked at it and I was like, blimey, that is a lot. That is a lot to deal with, and I can't possibly do it all. I need to say no to a lot of things. So I took out a red pen and I went through it again. And I thought, okay, what can I actually cut from my life? And I'm not just meaning kind of like projects or tasks you have to do, but also certain, we all have like some internal battles or feelings or things that may relate to the past or to other people, or, things you ponder about. But you don't have to ponder about them if you don't want to. You can just cut them out and you go like, okay, I'm going to park that for now. I just can't deal with it. I'm just going to cut it out. And it's been extremely therapeutic. I felt really guilty about doing it initially because ultimately I am a people pleaser. I love to tick boxes. I love to just excuse my French, to get shit done. And I always feel like I have the power to do everything. But I don't, and you don't either. So it's actually really good to be honest with ourselves and go like, okay, I'm just going to let that go. I also looked at other things and thought, okay, I don't want to let it go. What can I do to kind of like modify it? Is there a project, for example, I can just make it a little bit shorter or turn it into something else? Or with my friends, I didn't have the capacity or time to kind of like schedule long phone calls, but I just left them some voice notes. And that took me a couple of minutes, but I reconnected. I built those bridges again and I made the time for them. That's just a small example. But even with other things, like some of the mental we all have certain things we think about and have to deal with. So for example, my dad passed away last year, and it's not just the grief of him passing, but there's so many other bits and bobs I really need to process. But I don't have to process them now. So I literally took a few things and thought, okay, I haven't got the capacity to deal with it right now. So I'm just going to park it for now. I'm going to address it at a later stage. And you can do that too. So all that sudden, you just have a list with hopefully a lot more red crosses than actually things that are still on there for you have to do or you want to address. And then you can highlight those and go like, okay, this is what I'm going to prioritize. And I think I talked about it before. It's always important to know your top trumps. So for me, my top trump card is always my family. They always come first. So anything on my big kind of things to do, things to think about, things to action, whatever is related to my family obviously comes first. But you can choose whatever is important in your life. And very importantly, I also prioritize myself. I realized I need to give myself some time at home as well and not feel guilty about it. So I schedule that into my calendar, and I just feel lighter. To be honest, I've only done it a week ago, but it's been game changing. I'm more myself. I sleep better. I feel more in control of things. And I realize I'm not Superwoman. I can't do it all. And you're neither Superman or Superwoman. We're midlifers and we have a lot of shit to deal with. But we don't have to deal with it all at once. And that's really important to know. So if you feel really overwhelmed, slightly burned out, take a day. I highly recommend it. Just take a day. Put everything down on one piece of paper. That is really important. Don't do it in your head because you're already so overwhelmed. You need to get it out of your head onto a piece of paper and then be ruthless. Just go, no. Set your boundaries. In my experience, that's the only thing on how to combat that feeling of overwhelm. And then you actually have time to recharge and you feel less burned out and you feel your energy coming back and your zest for life, and you can start planning adventures again. That's for me. And as you can tell, the YouTube channel has had not a red cross next to it, but it's on the modifier list. So my ambitious plans of having those super cool videos like I love watching on YouTube will have to wait for a bit. I do have some amazing footage from Norway. Maybe I do something with it, maybe not. But what I promise you, I'm going to do a lot of videos, one a week, about midlife and all the gazillion things we are facing. So expect more on that to come. But for now, be kind to yourself. Don't feel guilty. And I'll see you again next week. You take care.